皆さん、おはようございます。ジョゼフ・オーティスタです。と、このクレイジーな世界へようこそ。Or more or less, so will be the presentation in Japanese. You see that today I'm next to my little shrine of geeky things from Japan, and I thought it was precisely a good place to talk about Japanese dishes. And today's topic is to tell you a little bit about what to do when you leave Japan. As many of you know, I have been living for years in Japan, and those who are new to the channel, welcome. This year 2021 I decided to go back to Catalonia, and I thought it would be helpful to talk to you about the steps that need to be done when you leave Japan. I know there are a lot of people who are looking forward to going there, but from personal experience, and I think it will be useful to you if you're in the same situation of leaving the country, you will find a small guide I have written on my website. Step by step, the steps to follow before you are ready to leave the country and return home. I'll try to go fast, first because I'm down here, I have everything closed and the fan off so there is no noise, and I'm melting here. And second, because as each case is unique, I will tell you my experience to return, which in another case will be different. So let's start with number 1. You've already done everything you had to do in Japan, you've been studying, you've been working, and you decide it's time to go home. But first of all, what I recommend is that you talk to your friends. At times like these, they can help you more than anyone else and make you think if it is the right decision or maybe you should stay. If so and you have decided to stay, enjoy the country. Number 2. You have a lot of stuff piled up there, you have spent years there, you have many things of sentimental value, and you don't know what to do with all these things. First option, throw it away and make it disappear. Second option, pick a few things and send them home. Indeed, super important. Do not make the same mistake I made the first time, is to put lots of clothes in. Or things that can be bought, again with little money. For example, shirts, pants, or anything from clothes. Make a list of all the things you think you should send home. And after you've made that first selection, make a second one where you have to throw away rather half of everything you've selected. My recommendation, put only things that are limited edition, or that they have a particularly sentimental value. In my case, for example, unique photography books from my sensei, my photo books, and some notebooks. To send, you must go to any Japan Post office, buy a box of the ones they have there, or bring one of your own. Make a complete list of each item you put in the box, and the approximate value you think it can have. After filling out a bunch of paperwork, answering thousands of questions that the post office will ask you there, you'll be able to send your stuff home. Number 3. Leave work. And although it seems a bit obvious what I will say, you should notify your company that you plan to leave the country. I know a guy who showed up at the company one day and said, "I'm leaving tomorrow," and we never saw him again. Both for leaving work and for any type of notification, it is usually recommended that you do so 1 month in advance. And that brings us to number 4, which is to go and notify immigration that you've quit your job. Super important. If you plan to return to Japan after a couple of months but leave the country without a job, you run the risk of having your work visa revoked when you go to the airport. I don't know anyone who has been through it, but it's a risk that exists. Number 5. Cancel your apartment or your room in a shared house. You have to do the same a month in advance. In fact, if you're in a shared house, it will be easier, as you may not have to cancel contracts for water, electricity, gas, or internet. Now, if you live on your own apartment, remember that you also have to cancel all these services. When you leave the apartment, remember to leave it super clean, because they will come to you for a later inspection, in which you should be present, to see that there is no damage or any damage to the apartment. And that's super important because depending on what they say at the inspection, they refund you more or less money from the deposit you made. Which brings us to number 6. Get rid of all things. The furniture, the bed you bought, the TV, in short, everything you bought to have inside the apartment. To do this, you can go to any recycling shop in your neighborhood or thrift shops and see what they can offer you. Another option is the Sayonara Sales Facebook groups, where you can put pictures of your stuff at bargain prices and surely someone will buy them for you. And third option is to throw it away. But to do this, you have to keep in mind that the garbage collection system in Japan is very special. And also, if those are very large items such as a table, what you should do is consult the website of the city council and hire a collection service to collect all the items you want to throw. Now, if you live in a share house, this is much easier, since you can pass some of your furniture to roommates. Surely, and as I did, I received some furniture from my housemates that were moving out, and when I moved out, I gave those things back to another housemate. Number 7. Pay all your debts at the town hall. If you're a student or if you have gone for a short period of time, you probably will have less to do. However, with a work visa or for long stays of students, as they can be 2 years, you will probably be affiliated to Social Security and the pension system. These two services, you must go to the town hall to report first that you're leaving the country, and second that you settle all the debts you may have. For example, in my case, for a year I was paying more taxes than I was entitled to, and instead of paying off debts, it was the city tax system that gave me back money and went to have a good dinner. You better go early in the morning, because all this kind of paperwork takes time. I managed to do it all in one morning, but I got in at 8 in the morning and left around noon. That with everything solved. Number 8. Cancel your bank account. I recommend that you do this towards the end, as you may be left with some things to pay, like services such as water, electricity, and also important so that they can transfer the money from the deposit of your apartment in your Japanese bank account before you leave. And that's a piece of advice I give you if you decide to leave Japan. Allow some extra time between cancelling everything like the apartment, debts and so on, and really to leave Japan. You can spend the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks traveling around Japan. Number 9. Notify that you're leaving Japan at the post offices. If you have lived in a share house, it is very simple. All you have to do is notify them of your departure, but you can leave the same address as another roommate can pick up your letters and it comes around. However, if you live on your own, you will need to give the address of one of your friends, because if a letter arrives, a bill, or even a package that left Japan but ended up returning to Japan, they can pick it up for you. That happened to me. I shipped 3 boxes here at home. They stayed at customs and they decided without notifying me that they would return them to Japan. And it was a Number 10, and it's the simplest of all the steps I had to do. That was to cancel my phone contract. You can do this even the day before you go to the airport and leave the country. All you have to do is make sure you go early, and after a couple of hours your phone contract will be cancelled. And you can have the last invoice that you have to receive. Make it through your bank account in your home country. So it was super simple. And the extra step, number 11, is crying a lot. It looked great as the camera turned off just at the moment I said the last sentence. I hope that if you find yourself in this situation, these tips will be useful to you, since there is a lot of information on how to go to Japan and how to live in Japan, but it's hard to find information on what to do when you leave Japan. And I wish I could help everyone in the same situation, or have doubts about what to do. In the case of students, it is quite easier, there are fewer things to do, but still, it's always good to have someone who can help you. Before leaving, I have to say I've been thinking a few more topics to talk about Japan, how to live in Japan, so if you have any specific thought or topic or any questions you'd like to ask, you can leave me anything in the comments, and in time, possibly I will make a video talking about that. And today we will leave it here. I hope you find this video useful. Leave me some comments, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't done it yet, and until next video, fins aviat! Intentaré anar ràpid, primer perquè m'estic morint de calor. Ja has fet tot el que havies de fer al Japó, has estat treballant, has estat... I això ens porta al número 1. I això és important perquè, depenent